evil device has fallen into the hands of Red Skull, one that would transform Red Skull into a master of all supervillains. His dream of controlling the world is on the verge of becoming nightmarish reality. It's up to Captain America and the Avengers to find out Red Skull's plan and put a stop to his legion of supervillains. Captain America and the Avengers was released in the arcades in 1991 and got several ports sometime after. The port we will be going over is the Sega Genesis version released in 1992. I wouldn't call the arcade game amazing, but it was pretty fun. It's a simple 4-player beat-em-up that had good graphics, sound, music, and some rather memorable voice lines.
You can't escape! You will be the one escaping!
The Sega Genesis version is obviously a step down, but it seems like they did a pretty decent job at replicating the arcade game. Now let's get into the controls. For this game, you'll only need a 3-button controller. A will jump while B and C will attack. You can defend by holding attack, and you can perform a projectile attack by pressing jump and attack at the same time. In the shooting sections, you can only shoot, or you can defend by holding the attack button. The goal of this game is to get to the end of each stage while fighting enemies and bosses along the way. You'll start the game with 100 health. You won't regain health in between stages, but you can find health power-ups along the way. As for the fighting itself, there are a few things you should keep in mind. The first is that enemies will be invincible for a brief moment when getting up. Because of this, you can't be aggressive 100% of the time since they'll most likely hit you back in this scenario. The second is which attacks to use. Your basic attacks can work against normal enemies, but they won't make the bosses flinch at all. You can throw enemies by pressing attack while up close, but it's not always consistent as you'll either fail to pick them up or get a basic attack instead. Jump attacks will knock down enemies and bosses instantly. You can either perform a small jump by tapping jump, or perform a huge jump by pressing and holding jump. Jump attacks in general are very good for crowd control since you'll be able to knock down enemies and create some space. For the case of Iron Man and Vision, their huge jump attack will shoot a projectile, and won't knock down enemies in one hit, but they are very useful since it will be hard for the enemies to hit you back. Lastly is making use of dashing. If you press forward twice and hold it, your character will start to run. After a short moment, they will perform a dash attack that will knock down enemies. Like with jump attacks, this can be very useful for creating space and getting enemies off of you. Those who've played this game will know that there are some things I haven't mentioned yet, but I'll save that for the long play. If you want a full guide that goes over this game, you can check out the link in the description below. With that said, let's start the game.
Avengers!
Alright, and this is my long play of Captain America and the Avengers. Now the first thing I did is I went to the options and I set the game to hard and left the continues at 3. You can't put it up to 7, and similar to my Pit Fighter Longplay, my goal wasn't to beat this game without losing a life. I actually did want to, I do lose lives on purpose because I want to show off the other characters. So I'm going to start this off with Hawkeye, which is my favorite character, but before that, some story. By assembling a team of supervillains, Red Skull seeks to conquer the world. He has used his wealth to assemble his evil team. He has used a mind-controlled machine to bring them under his power. Now he controls their every action. Go at once, Avengers! Try to crush his evil scheme. So that's stage 1, and so the thing with this long play is that I do use Hawkeye for like a good chunk of the game, for over half, and then I lose a life to use Iron Man, and then Vision, and then at the very end I used Captain America, but I didn't get to show him off that much because I think I used him at like the very last boss. So, but I'll still explain like some strats for other characters along the way. So as I mentioned in the intro, dash attacks and jump attacks are really good for crowd control because the thing with Captain America and the Avengers is that this game likes to flood enemies on the screen, and it can get very overwhelming if you don't like knock them down to create some space. Now, something I didn't mention in the intro is how armor works. The thing is, you might have saw that shield guy just now with the blue shield. Some enemies in this game have armor in which if you hit them with like well, this is mostly for like some bosses, some enemies. But if you hit them during armor, they don't get knocked down, and because of this, your attack hits multiple times. And in this scenario, that like dash attacks and jump attacks, they do a ton of damage, and you actually see that. You see that right here. So it's two bosses, the Claw and Living Laser. Now, when they both jump to each side, they'll have armor for this part, so you can see me dash through and look at the damage. It did like half, but wait, I'm going to do the same thing to the Living Laser. Almost did all of his health. In some situations, you can actually get like up all of their health in one go. I think it's because I was using Hawkeye, like when he has a slide animation when he dashes, but I think with the other characters, it's because they don't slide, it's like easier to like deal all of their health in one dash attack. But yeah, when it comes to like armored enemies, you can just do a ton of damage by dashing and with like dash attacks and jump attacks. It's really good. And yeah, with projectiles, I mentioned it before, you can press jump plus attack to shoot one. It's really useful. And another thing I should mention is, I guess I can go over some of the characters. Right, and yeah, that's the boss coming up. Oh yeah, and these enemies, those bugs, they're kind of annoying because if you make contact with them, you just explode, like they explode. So melee attacks are pretty much out of the option unless you get lucky. I don't know.
You can't escape! You will be the one escaping!
Alright, so Whirlwind is pretty easy. You can just stay back and shoot projectiles. Now do remember though, I got a pretty bad, like it's weird because you have to press both jump and attack, and it's a little specific, like sometimes I don't get it out. Oh, I actually got hit there. So yeah, pretty easy boss fight. You can use dash attacks too if you want, or you can use projectile attacks. The thing is though, like with the projectile attacks, you have to wait because remember that like enemies wake up with invisibility, so you can't get trigger happy. You just gotta wait a little bit when they get up. Whirlwind's attack was just a setup. Other towns are being taken over. Hurry, Avengers! So yeah, now we're moving on to the second stage. And yeah, I should talk about the characters. Hawkeye, I feel like he's the worst. Mainly because, like, I don't know, like, it's hard to explain. It's like, okay, I mentioned that with Iron Man and Vision, when they do a big jump and press attack, they could shoot a laser, which is really good, a projectile. And the reason why it's so good is because it aims downward at an angle. You'll see that later in this playthrough. Hawkeye and Captain America can also shoot a projectile midair, but like, when they press jump plus attack, they shoot it straight, which is only good for enemies in the air, whereas with Iron Man and Vision, they shoot it down. And Captain America has one good thing over Hawkeye, but unfortunately I don't get to show it here, but I might as well explain it now. So this is the shooting section. You can either mash attack to shoot, or you can hold attack to defend. And oh yeah, and those small blue items that drop from enemies, they do recover 10 points of health. Now, the thing with these sections is that Captain America is actually the best at these sections, and the reason is because he draws his shield, and not only does he draw his shield very fast, like just as fast as Hawkeye and the others, but it hits on the way back, and it goes through enemies. So when it comes to parts like this where you see this huge ship, like he can keep hitting the ship and the enemies at the same time. Whereas with like you can see right here with Hawkeye and the other characters, like the shots get blocked by like the enemies in the ship. So yeah, Captain America is just the best at these sections, and he makes them like really easy. Now for this section, I just try to stay back and shoot the enemies. I don't know if it's possible to like, it might be, geez, that took so much damage here. I don't know if it's possible to destroy the ship in time as Hawkeye, Iron Man, and Vision. Maybe it is, but I don't know. With that section, you saw that they were shooting lasers. You can actually block them and you would take no damage, so I just held attack, which is really good. I think I don't know if this section has one more ship to fight. Okay, yeah, it does. So this is Wasp. You can only find her in these sections. She will block enemy attacks, and if you press attack plus jump at the same time, she will charge forward and do a contact damage. Now this ship right here, you want to be slightly above the laser it's shooting. I don't know if that happened. Yeah, there it is. I don't know how it's not hitting me, by the way, but you want to be slightly above and just keep shooting at the far left. Not only would this hit the missiles and like make you dodge the enemies, but if you try to go like anywhere else, it becomes a huge mess because the missiles actually home in on you, and it's really difficult. So yeah, when it comes to those ships, you just want to be slightly above the laser it shoots behind and just keep mashing shoot. This works with Hawkeye, Iron Man, and Vision. If you're using Captain America, you can actually be slightly under the laser instead. If you just keep drawing your shield, you destroy the ship and the enemies. So yeah, again, Captain America is really good in these sections, and he's also pretty good in the main section since his shield goes through enemies. Now I think coming up is the first mid-boss of the stage. Well, I think it's the only mid-boss if I'm correct. Yeah, here it comes. Does he have a voice line? I don't remember. Okay, so this fight is easy. You want to go specifically right here, right where Hawkeye is, and if you stay here, you'll never get hit. You can do this as Iron Man, Vision, Captain America. Just stay in this. This is pretty much a safe spot. Just stay in this spot, keep shooting, and this boss will never hit you. Because the fist will miss, the arm will miss, the lasers will miss, and yeah, this works for all characters, so really easy boss if you know of this spot. If you don't know of this spot, this fight can get a little bit messy. Other than that, not too bad. And now for one last ground section before the main boss of the stage. Well, oh, what the fuck? Okay, yeah, I forgot that happened during the long play where, like, I don't know why, but the sprites were glitched, and that doesn't happen again in this long play. I don't know what the hell happened there, but it is what it is. I guess if you couldn't notice, it was the same enemies that grab you in the first stage. I don't think I have to talk about them yet. Ooh, that's one thing I didn't mention. In this game, you can actually get grabbed by enemies and like projectiles, and yeah, that should give 20 points of health. When you get grabbed in this game, you have to match the buttons and directions to shake free. And it's fine because like that move right there, that can also grab you. Because when you get grabbed, it doesn't really do that much damage. The real danger from getting grabbed is that other enemies can hit you, and that's when you take a lot of damage. So yeah, these are the enemies that were bugging out earlier, so they're not too bad early on, but in the later stages they can be a little bit of a pain. I can't believe I forgot about those bugs. Like throughout this long play, I did forget some spawn points, so I think even if I wanted to do a no death run, I probably would have like resetted the game by now, because whatchamacallit, like health carries over. Like you don't regain the health when you beat a stage, so what you see is what you get, and that's what makes this game hard to do a no death run of. But when you get used to that enemy spawns, it's actually not too bad, and preferably use a better character than Hawkeye. Alright, now for the first boss. Well, I should say the second boss.
You came here to die.
Alright, so for this fight, always start at the bottom left and do a jump attack. He'll have armor, so you deal a ton of damage. Wow, that was really good. So one good thing Hawkeye has is that his jump attack is like really good. The range is like, it has like, I don't know how to explain this. I think it has like a disjoint. Like the range is further than it looks. And it's really great for hitting enemies out of the air, and for like what you just saw there, where I just did a ton of freaking damage. Also, that's a really funny defend animation. Grim Reaper has regained consciousness, and Red Skull has commanded him to fight the Avengers to the finish. What has Red Skull planned next? This long play is sponsored by Fatal Fury Special for the Game Gear. That's right, the Neo Geo blockbuster hit is now available on the go. Funny enough, this port seems pretty dang good. It doesn't have a lot of characters, but the gameplay seems solid from the little time I spent playing it. Perhaps I should do a first to 5 set, or maybe even a combo video. So yeah, one thing that is unfortunate about this game is that like you don't see the pictures. Like in these cutscenes, you're supposed to see pictures and all that. I think the SNES version had it, and the arcade version, of course, definitely had it. So it sucks they aren't in this game. I assume it's due to space constraints, which is fine, because it's not the time for me to talk about the SNES version right now. I really don't want to, but thankfully, you know, I'll just save that for later. Anyways, back to the game. So this part, pretty simple. There are some enemies to fight here. The shield guys, as usual, you can either jump attack or dash through them. I think 2 shifts spawn from either the right side after you deal with these enemies when you walk to the right. And I should mention that there is an enemy limit. Like, I think only 6 enemies in total could be on the screen, not more than that. About 6 to 5. And that is kind of important because when it comes to spawn points, like, you know, you see these ships pop up here. I don't think these ships pop up if there's already like 4 to 5 enemies on screen. It's only after you defeat 1 or 2 of them that they pop up. Alright, so this is another boss. I forgot his name, but pretty simple. He'll do this big jump. When he does that, he'll land and throw 5 discs in your direction, like right there. And he also has a quick jump, which is just an uppercut. Well, I should say like a downward punch. Now, some characters will have a hard time hitting him out of it, but as I mentioned before, Hawkeye's jump attack his small jump attack, I should say, has a really weird hitbox, so it's really good for countering it, but you can still get hit, as you just saw there. And yeah, that was that boss, and now we're going to the underwater section, which is another shooting section. Now, this section isn't too bad actually, because the enemies aren't too dangerous, and really the only dangerous enemies are the ones that are walking in the bottom, because they shoot projectile in 3 ways. So you want to deal with them first before they're able to fire, like right there. But the other enemies are easy to deal with. The mines will home in on you if you get close enough, so always look out for that. And yeah, after this section will be like during this section there will be one more mini boss before the main boss. And this mini boss is very easy, and I get into that once we get there. Now at this point, always stay at the bottom left and keep shooting, because 5 enemies will come out of nowhere, and if you let them fire, there's a good chance you might get hit, because it's hard to dodge all of those shots at once. Unless you're really good, I don't know. I don't know if it's possible, like if all of them fire. So you see Submariner go through the middle, you hit all of the enemies in a way. And yeah, coming up is the mid boss. I think this is called I don't remember all of the names for the bosses. They are in the manual, which I don't have right now. And but yeah, this boss is pretty easy. Just hold left when the match starts, and now the boss it's almost impossible for you to get hit. Really, all you gotta do here is just keep firing and just wait. And if you feel that a laser is about to hit you, you can just slightly move up or down. Like, when it comes to getting hit in these sections, your hitbox seems really, really small. Like this, like even if a razor just barely touches you, it won't hit. Like right there. So yeah, you just gotta move slightly up and down in case you feel like you might get hit, and that's really it. Like, it's pretty easy boss battle. Like right there, just move slightly up, just to avoid that shot. Move slightly down, just get back in position. if you try to like move around the arms, I think they can actually grab you or hit you. So that's why it's good to just stay in the safe spot. But yeah, now we're going to go inside. I think this is a submarine. Okay, not time to fight some more enemies. Projectile enemies are a little annoying because they do that jump where like they shoot multiple lasers, and it's just, you really gotta make use of the Y-axis to avoid it. Like you know, moving up and down. If you try to counter them, there's a good chance they're just gonna get hit instead. So you see me do that here. I'm just moving up and down to avoid them. Now something, oh yeah, and there's a breakable wall here. You can just use a jump attack. Something I didn't mention is the items on the ground. They kind of feel useless. Maybe they was useful in the arcade game. I haven't played it in a long time. I think I mean maybe this item, yeah, I don't. So the thing with items in this game is that they only do one hit. That might sound fine, but like I'm talking like one hit, like from like the same hit as your basic attack, which I don't even know if I used that earlier, but basic attacks are not that good in this game because you have to basic attack an enemy like 3 to 4 times for them to be knocked down, and the fact that items do that much damage, just one basic hit where you can just do a jump attack and deal the same amount of and deal like jump attacks in this game do like 3 or 4 basic attacks worth of damage. I don't know how to explain it. Alright, so this boss, very easy. So wait for him to get to the middle and just keep dashing through him. Alright, so while this is happening, maybe talk about the items. So yeah, when it comes to items, the reason why it's bad that they do only like one hit is because jump attacks and dash attacks seem to do like what? It's like the same thing as hitting the opponent 3 to 4 times with a basic attack, so why would you throw an item when a jump attack would do, like a jump attack is like throwing 3 items pretty much. I don't know how else to explain it, they're just really weak. The Avengers have located Red Skull's hideout and uncovered his plans to build a secret base on the moon and to arm it with a giant laser cannon. If his plans are carried out, it will mean the destruction of not only America, but of the whole Earth as well. Alright, stage 4. And I think it's around here that I actually lose the life in order to pick one of the other characters. But I did want to try to get pretty far with Hawkeye because I don't know, he is one of my... I know he gets like picked on for not being cool, just you know, he's a joke, ha ha ha, whatever. But I think he's cool. I actually do use him in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, but I'm gonna talk about that game because I am pretty awful at that. But yeah, I still think Hawkeye is cool, and yeah, I still want to show off some of the other characters. Something I should have done, I guess I might as well mention this now. When I played when I played this game and I did this long play, I should have switched to Captain America. Maybe I did mention this in like when I just started this commentary, but like I really wish I switched to Captain America first instead of Iron Man and Vision, because the thing with Iron Man and Vision is that they're really similar to each other. They're like the same. I think Vision might have a slightly better jump attack, like a small jump attack. But they both have like the same game plan of like using high jumps and shooting lasers downwards to hit enemies on the ground. But the thing is, with this long play, I instead picked Iron Man, then Vision, and like, again, you see at the very end, I picked Captain America, and like, I didn't even get to show off like the cool stuff with his shield. But it's fine. Anyways, this section is filled with a lot of enemies. You see me abusing the jump attack just to like control like the area. And oh yeah, coming up is a boss I cannot stand to face. I'll talk about him once he pops up. And yeah, that was me using the basic attack. Again, I'm not really a big fan of them. There we go. Alright, so this is the Juggernaut. I don't know if this is the same one from the X-Men. I doubt it. He looks a bit different. But so I am doing a pattern here. I'm staying like right in the same axis as him to make him do a melee attack, and then I knock him down. But once he gets to about a quarter of health, like when he gets hit again, he will instead start rolling towards you really fast, like that, and then he would just do an instant charge attack that's hard to react to. Now it is possible to hit him out of this charge attack, but it's really hard. Like it depends on the timing really. So yeah, this fight is really awkward once he starts doing his roll. He'll actually do this if you're too far away, like early in the fight. But when you stay on the same axis as him, he wants to do a melee attack. But again, once he gets health low enough, you just won't care. He would just start rolling anyways. So yeah, this part is a little difficult as the other characters because I don't know. It has been a while since I like played through this game, like with one character, like with Hawkeye or Captain America, I should say. I still think Captain America is one of the better characters to play through the game with because, again, if you remembered earlier, I took a lot of damage in one of the earlier shooting sections. I think the first one, which was in stage 2. But it's fine, it is what it is. But shield enemies, you can just dash through them as usual. And from here, there's not much else to explain. Like, it's pretty simple. Especially since I'm using Iron Man, because even though I think that honestly, I think because of like, I don't know, like because Iron Man, he was obviously like in the arcade game, he was like one of the best characters for beating the game with on 1/4. I don't know about this game. Maybe it's because I suck with him. Like, I don't know. But the thing is that like he still shoots slow in the shooting sections. So it's not. Hold on, I get back to that in a bit.
Ask the police.
Oh man, these voice lines. So this boss fight's pretty easy. You just wanna, as Iron Man and Vision, you can just do this. Now, if you're using Hawkeye and Captain America, you can instead use jump attacks, but it can be a little risky because Ultron has a punch and it can actually hit you out of the air. But yeah, pretty simple. And what if he actually does the he's supposed to do a different attack where he goes to the middle and like shoot a bunch of lasers. Does he actually do it here? Really? Okay, so that's, wow, I'm surprised. So what's supposed to happen is that he gets to low health and there's so much going on. Let me get to the story first. Okay, the laser cannon has been completed. There's only a short time before the laser is set to fire. Hurry, Avengers, crush Red Skull's plot. Alright, so yeah, as I was saying, Ultron, when he gets to like mid, like halfway health, like 50%, he'll like fly to the middle of the screen and like shoot a laser up, and like a bunch of lasers will come down in different spots. And I'm surprised he didn't do that there. I guess it's because I was using Iron Man. But yeah, that's the thing. So back to Iron Man. The thing with the arcade version is that and I think this is good for all characters, you was able to shoot really, really fast, like in these sections. Like really fast. So it made everyone viable in them, like to an extent. With Iron Man and Vision and I guess Hawkeye in these sections for the Genesis version, like you'd think I'm shooting slow, but like I'm not. Like I'm pressing the attack button as fast as I can, and like it just doesn't matter. Like it feels like only 1 or 2 projectiles can be on screen at once, and it just makes these sections way more of a pain. So I said resort to the tactic I did before, which is stay slightly above the laser and just keep shooting. But yeah, that's one of the reasons why I wish I switched to Captain America first, because I want to show his destructive power when he keeps throwing like 100 shields through the ship. It's kind of hilarious, but yeah, it's really good. But yeah, like, is this the shooting limit on these sections for the other characters is really rough. Technically, Captain America is affected by it as well, but again, it doesn't matter since his shield goes through enemies and like it hits on the way back. So, like, unless I'm wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure it does. So yeah, like, man, this game feels like harder in some ways. I don't know how else to say it. Now, yeah, there's not much else to say here. I think one more ship will come up, which is pretty much the same, like as Iron Man, Hawkeye, and Vision. You just say, you stay to the left and stay slightly above the laser to avoid all the enemies and missiles and keep shooting. This part, I feel like I should have blocked. Oh, okay. So, this is something I don't know if I mentioned in the guide or not. When there's a bunch of enemies on screen, oh, and I didn't get that health power up because I wanted to switch to Vision. But when there's a bunch of enemies on screen, the game will start to flicker like crazy. It kind of reminds me of like NES games where like there's too much. What game was it? I'm trying to remember what like NES game it was, but like there was so much stuff on screen and like it was causing like the sprites to flicker like crazy. I can't think of it right now, but my point is that when there's a bunch of sprites on the screen, the game will kind of like start to like glitch out a bit. So if that happens, no, it's not your cartridge. That's just part of the game. Now, oh yeah, that's right. There's like 2 enemies there. I don't know why I like reacted so slow to hit them. They actually could have got a cheap hit on me. Alright, so this is the big computer. I don't know if I hit it first. All you gotta do is just one small jump attack and that's it. That's all it takes. And I'm pretty sure I just get hit here and I switch to vision. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, right here would have been a good time to switch to Captain America because vision is pretty much the same. He can shoot a projectile on the ground, he can shoot one while midair. And of course he still has a dash attack and a jump attack. I think his jump attack is really good. He might be one of the better characters in this game. Like, the thing is, I never played through the game as Vision. I played through like a good chunk of the game as him, but like I never sat down and played as Vision like from start to finish. I just know that he's pretty good. But I did play through this game as Captain America. I played through it as Iron Man, and I did play through it as Hawkeye, of course. Okay, for this last stage, there is there's 2. Well, I want to say there's 2 main bosses and one. I should say 2 mid bosses that fight together, and this fight's annoying. So you'll see that in a bit. Alright, so these are I think their name is controls. I don't know why they're called that. This fight, you just want to stick to jump attacks because you can see right here what makes this fight. And I think the worst part about this fight is the buzzsaws on the floor because like it's bad enough you barely have room to move and it's 2 enemies at once, but with how they attack and like how they try to run after you and grab you, I think that's actually like manageable. It's the buzzsaws that makes it kind of hard because like it limits your movement even more and you just got to be aware of them. Like right there I got hit because of the jump attack. It's a mess. Like it's really hard to get through that fight without getting hit. Like unless you're on top of it, like you're on top of your game or something. Alright, yeah, I got grabbed there, that's fine. And I think after this section is the first main boss, and then after that will be some more enemies and the final boss. So yeah, I feel like I said everything I wanted to about this game at this point. I don't know if there's anything else I'm missing. I did mention that there are health pickups. You can get the ones in the shooting sections give 10, and when Quicksilver comes by, he gives you a big life disc that gives 20 points of health. And you know what? I'll talk about one more thing that's kind of important after this boss battle. Alright, so Crossbones, when he's at mid-range, he will shoot a gun. When he's far away, he will instead draw 3 knives, especially after he gets knocked down, so you just want to wait. Then he will draw his knife up, and they just want to shoot him. Again, do the same thing, just wait for the knife to pass through. And then get in his axes and use projectiles. This works as anyone, so it's not just vision only. I think, I could be wrong, I think with, I don't know which character it is, but it might either be Captain America or Hawkeye. You can actually shoot the mines on the floor in order to make them explode early. But yeah, just stay far away. Yeah, pretty easy boss fight. Now, I don't think he did them similar to the Ultron fight. I think he was supposed to do a move where he rolls across the stage and throws like 8 mines or something like that. He didn't do that there though. But yeah, we are coming close to the end of this game. And yeah, it's at the final boss where I switched to Captain America. I'm pretty sure I mentioned that like 100 times by now. I apologize. So yeah, the last thing I wanted to mention about this game, there's a training mode. Like you might see that on the menu screen. Now, when I first saw this, I figured, okay, maybe it's like Golden Axe 1, where it's just, oh, you get to play like a stage or 2, and then like the game tells you to play a harder difficulty or something like that. No, it's actually a versus mode. And like I was like, wait, what? This versus mode? Now, out of curiosity, I did play it because I was curious to see what it's like. And in case you're wondering yourself, it's very, very basic. Like, you and player 2 just hit each other, and like when you get hit, you go into invisibility frame. So There's not a lot to it.
You can't escape.
Alright, so time for the final boss, Red Skull. He only has 2 attacks. He'll either attack when he's close with a melee attack. I think he punches you. Otherwise, he will try to do a jump kick. But because I'm using vision, it's very easy. Now, again, as Captain America and Hawkeye, you can instead use small jump attacks.
Yes, it's another trap. You stupid men. We'll teach you the meaning of justice.
The meaning of justice? Anyways, this is a Mecha Red Skull. That laser beam does a ton of freaking damage. It's insane. So hopefully it's around here that I actually... Damn, yeah, I'm surprised that I didn't go to Captain America yet. Usually, oh man. Yeah, so I think it's around here that I get ready to lose on purpose. Because Captain America does have one good thing against this boss. And you see that at the... Alright, here we go. So I want you to look at the boss's health when Captain America does his dash attack. Look at that damage! Really freaking good. I think the other characters can do it as well, but for me, Captain America seems to do the most. And I just throw his shield once, and that is it. Again, I wish I got to show off more of him, but all you need to know is that he's pretty much like Hawkeye, except he throws his shield instead of shooting arrows. Thanks to the brave and valiant efforts of our heroes, the Avengers, Red Skull and its evil plan was crushed, and the world could once again breathe easily. But, for the Avengers, the battle doesn't end here. Wherever evil exists in this world, they must confront it. In the name of justice, Avengers unite! And yeah, that was Captain America and the Avengers for the Sega Genesis. Real talk, like, I'm gonna keep this 100. This game is pretty dang good, like, for 1992 standards, like holy crap. Because I remember, here's the thing. When I was young, I don't know if I was a teenager, maybe I was a bit younger than that. I played the Super Nintendo version, and I hated it. Like, I remember, like, I was never able to beat it. I even put the game on, like, easy or something, and I think I got up to, like, stage 3 or 4 before I gave up. And, like, I just hated that game. Like, I just did not want to play it. I just, like, stopped playing it altogether, and I think I went to, like, what games was I playing back then? I was playing a lot of Super Nintendo stuff at the time. But like, this game in particular for Super Nintendo, I just gave up on. Like, I did not want to play it anymore. So when I played the Sega Genesis version years later, I was really shocked that, like, the game is pretty good. Again, it's not amazing, it's based off a game that's pretty simple in its own right. But, like, this is a pretty good port, and, like, I like what they've done here. Like, the music is pretty good, I still loved some of the voice lines. I don't know why I was stuttering there. But, yeah, like, it's just a really solid port. You know, the graphics are there, sound, the music, and all that. Again, it's not complete. There are some cutscenes missing, like the cutscene pictures, I should say. And, like, you know, like, it obviously doesn't look as good as the arcade version, but for a home port, this is pretty dang good. I hope you enjoyed this long play, and with that said, I'll see you later.
Iron Man. Vision. Hawkeye.